2-year-old filly Trotters, a purse of $420,000. And this is a pretty good group that will be going postward. And the field is led by Kind of a Hush and also by Caster. Welcome back to Pompano Harness in Pompano Beach, Florida. It's been a rainy evening thus far, but it is a very special night. $3.2 million in purse money, 8 championship races in the Breeders' Crown. This is the first time 8 has ever been held in one night. The harness racing community is excited about it. The best 2- and 3-year-olds in the world are here. The best 2- and 3-year-old filly and colt, pacers and trotters, and during the course of the evening we look forward to sharing with you the excitement, the color, and the pageantry of the standard-bred sport. Here's a look at the field for tonight's 2-year-old filly trot, and there's a look at Kind of a Hush, 1A, and the driver will be Jan Nordin, one of the favorites in this upcoming race. He's had a little bit of a problem, though, earlier tonight, and Ellie Sarama is on top of the situation.
Thanks, Bruce. With me now is Danny Collins, the trainer of Kind of a Hush. Danny, she has had 15 races, and out of those 15 races, 3 starts under the lights, she made breaks. When did you realize that this filly had a problem with nighttime racing?
Well, when we sent her out to West, she seemed to race very good in the daylight. But what I'm hoping was it was her first 3 races in her career, and the crowd noises seem to bother her very much. Because I've jogged her out here underneath the lights every night since we've been here, and the lights haven't affected her at all.
So by changing her training routine and jogging her and schooling her under the lights, you feel that will help her? Have you made any equipment changes?
No equipment changes. I think that her confidence just built up in the horse herself, because she was very young and green at that point, and the crowd, I think, scared her more than anything.
Well, Kind of a Hush blossomed during the day, and we're hoping that tonight she'll blossom tonight for you. Thank you very much for joining us. Now back to Bruce.
5 minutes to post for tonight's 2-year-old filly trot. Taking a look at 1A, Kind of a Hush. 6 victories, 15 starts this year, $120,000 earned. 2-year-old filly by Arndon out of the Speedy Crown mare, Elegance. Well, let's find out more about this race. 2-year-old filly trotters, Kind of a Hush, Caster, others. Gary Seibel with the top contenders.
The 2-year-old filly trot division was dominated by one distaffer early on. Since then, she's faltered and the ranks are wide open. Lila Lobell was impressive in the New York Sire Stakes and took her mark of 158-1 in a division of the Bluegrass at Lexington last month. She shares morning line favorite status with her entry mate, Kind of a Hush. This Arndon lass has won her last 3, including victories over several of tonight's foes. Her fastest win came in her most recent outing, a solid 158-2 score. Kind of a Hush is seen here on the left of the screen, notching yet another impressive victory. The lightly raced Spreadsheet was a close second to Kind of a Hush in her last 2 outs, and for that reason, the blossoming daughter of Crowning Point has been tabbed as second choice. And then there's Caster. This striking black daughter of Speedy Somali won the Mariana Bell at the Meadowlands, annihilating her foes in 157-4. That win put her squarely on top of this division. But since then, it's been rough sledding. A Pompano victory 1 week ago might mean she's back on track.
Brilliant performance here. Caster wins the Mariana Bell by 6 lengths.
Here's a look at the current odds. The entry of Lila Lobell and Kind of a Hush, currently being held at 2-1. Spreadsheet is 5-2, bet down from 4-1. Number 4, Delphi's Lobell, 20-1. Hawaiian Pua is 40-1. Number 5, Me Maggie, 6. Armbro Ina is 5-1. Whitney Lomon is 20-1. Caster with a lot of potential, a lot of speed, 7-2. And Miss Baltic is 50-1. 3 minutes to post. We'll have the race for you when we return. Well, it's now a nice evening as the rain has subsided momentarily. Good crowd on hand at Pompano Harness. It's called the wintertime capital of harness racing. I'm Bruce Beck. Along with me, Stan Bergstein. And Stan, you have an interesting short story to share with us on Kind of a Hush.
Well, the filly's an interesting story. Last year at the Kentucky Standardbred yearling sale in Lexington, Kentucky, she sold for $18,000 to Soren Nordin and his son Jan, the great Swedish horse pair. 2 days later, She sold for $18,000, despite the fact that her mother, or Dam, Quite Elegance, where she got the name Kind of a Hush, had sold for $200,000 just a few weeks earlier. The reason she only brought $18,000 was that her sire, Arndon, is not a very fashionable sire. 2 days later, her half-brother, Meadow Gallant, won the major stake at Lexington. Her price went up. The Nordines sold her to Johan Dieden of Malmo, Sweden, for $60,000. She's won $120,000, goes into the race tonight as favorite. And the filly that has to beat her, if any does, will be Caster, I think, who won a tremendous race here last week.
I think we have to bring up an important point, because Kind of a Hush, late developing, Caster, an early season sensation. And Stan, it really talks about how the different styles of handling a 2-year-old with different trainers.
Well, it also depends on what happens to them. There's a lot of attrition that occurs to 2-year-olds. Some of them get sick, some of them get hurt. So they reach their maturity, not even their maturity, but they reach the peak of their 2-year-old form at different times. In the case of Kind of a Hush, you heard Danny Collins say that early on they brought her along slowly. She's come along very fast lately, and Caster, who was good early and dominated the New Jersey Sire Stakes, has come back now late and showed her most impressive race last week when she won by 4 3/4 lengths here at Pompano Park. So they would figure to be the two. Lila Lobell, of course, has won 10 out of 12 races, and obviously any filly that's won 10 out of 12 and has impeccable breeding as she does can't be counted out. Ed Rudner, who's the president of Certified Vacations, is one of the owners. I know he's a nervous man right now.
Now, Miss Baltic will start from the second tier in this race. Here's a look at the current odds, 8-5. The entry of Lila Lobell and Kind of a Hush. Spreadsheet 3-1, taking a lot of money. Delphi's Lobell 25, Hawaiian Pua 70, Mr. McGee, Me McGee at 5-1, Armbro Ina 6-1, Whitney Lomond 25, Caster 3.5-1, and Miss Baltic at 50-1. The field assembling behind the gate. Lila Lobell. Here's a look at how the field will start. Spreadsheet, as you can see, will get the rail, and going outward, Kind of a Hush has outside post. Caster also has an outside post. So does Lila Lobell. So perhaps 3 of the big stories in this race will start from the far outside on a 5/8 mile track. It's important, not quite as important as on a half-mile track. Gary Seibel ready to call the action wire to wire. Let's go high atop to Gary.
All right, Bruce, thanks very much. If you quickly note, you'll see that none of these 2-year-old filly trotters have performed on an off-track in quite some time, so that might be a factor here. This field is in motion. And they begin to straighten out onto the backstretch. This is the co-bulkiest field of the night. 10 going postward here. The next event will also have 10, and these are 2-year-old filly trotters, so actually anything can happen. We'll find out right now. They're off and trotting on the inside. Spreadsheet against the first call. And now moving out in between horses right there. That's Me Maggie coming away third, and now looking to settle in Delphi's Lobell. And Caster quickly up on the outside. Right there on the inside, Hawaiian Pua comes away fifth. And it's a length and a half back to Miss Baltic, and a gap of 3 to Armbro Ina, followed by Whitney Lomont, Lila Lobell, and Kind of a Hush is the early trailer in the field. It's going to be Spreadsheet and Caster battling it out on the front end as they reach the quarter in 29 seconds flat. And now they come by the stands the first time. On the outside, Caster has taken a short lead for Bill O'Donnell. Back to second, that is Spreadsheet at the rail. Delphi's Lobell well placed in third. Me Maggie's on the outside fourth, and Miss Baltic moves with that cover fifth. Hawaiian Pua is at the rail, followed by Armbro Ina, Whitney Lomont, Lila Lobell, and Kind of a Hush. Over to the half, Caster is cleared and now leads it by a length. Spreadsheet is back to second. Me Maggie first over. Miss Baltic well placed second over the half in 58 3/5. And now they are on to the backstretch. On the inside, Caster has made a break. Caster is off stride on the front end. On the outside, trotting right there, that is Me Maggie. And now Miss Baltic forced to go 3 wide. Spreadsheet looking to move out from behind the breaking horse. And Armbro Ina trotting up strongly, followed by Delphi's Lobell. Lila Lobell now on the move with Hawaiian Pua. 3/4 in 1:29 flat. Around the final turn and heading for home, it is now Miss Baltic with the lead. Spreadsheet coming after her. And on the far outside, it's Armbro Ina. Top of the lane, they turn for home. Miss Baltic has it by a length, and Spreadsheet was closing in, but now she has made a break. That is Miss Baltic, and here comes Delphi's Lobell closing in strongly. It's Delphi's Lobell coming on to win the 2-year-old filly trot. And Bruce, as we mentioned, anything can happen with 2-year-old filly trotters. It wasn't off track, and it certainly did. Bruce, back to you.
Thank you very much, Gary. Yes, the unpredictability of the 2-year-old filly trotters. And the winner is Delphi's Lobell, who went off at 25-1. Time of the mile, 1:59.3. And the veteran, Ronnie Waples, who knows all about winning big races, in the bike of Delphi's Lobell.
And when there are upsets, Ronnie Waples is likely to be there to execute them. Caister, when she went off stride, had nowhere to go. A driver is supposed to take a horse to the outside if clearance exists. None did. At this point, Bill Fay has Miss Boldick in front and looks good. But out in the middle of the racetrack, clearing the breaking horse, comes Ron Waples with Delphi's Lobell, a filly that raced mostly in the New York Sire Stakes this year, won 4 times in that competition, had showed nothing to indicate that she could beat this kind of a field. But tonight, with the breaking horses and with the rain and with the other events, here is Delphi's Lobell and Ron Waples. Surprise winner.
Now, there were a lot of problems in this race, Stan, and Kind of a Hush encountered a lot of problems. All the way on the outside, making the move now. 1A, focus the left side of your monitor and look at Kind of a Hush.
Well, you heard Gary Seibel early call the fact that she was dead last leaving. And she was still here, of course, way out of it as they come in. The interesting factor here was what happened with Caister making the break. At that point, Me Maggie was moving up on the outside for Bernd Lindstedt. Here you see Kind of a Hush, of course, under heavy urging by Jan Nordin, but unable to make up the ground she needs to make. So it was the surprise of Delphi's Lobell with Peter Van Drempt and Dominic DiPiero of New Jersey, the owners, Thomas Anderson, the trainer.
She was tough in the New York Sire Stakes action. Her 4 wins in her career have come on the Sire Stake Tour, but now she wins a big one in a surprise.
The result of this trot is now official. With me in the winner's circle, a man who has a history of upsets in Breeders' Crown competition, Ronnie Waples, winner behind Delphi's Lobell at 25-1. But Ronnie, you had good cover in this one behind Marco Marin. Perhaps you could have won it on your own merits.
Well, she's a real game little filly. John Campbell had been driving her. I asked him before the race what she was like, and he said she was a real gutsy little filly, and she sure is, I'll tell you that.
You know, no one likes to win a race because the others break, especially the favorite. But let's take a look. From the half-mile pole on, give us an idea where you are. It's really a contentious field.
Well, Mark, I'm following Mark O'Mara there, and he'd let Billy O'Donnell go with the favorite there, and Billy made a break. Mark got around him, and I just kept following him. Now there's a horse 3 wide, and I didn't know what was going to happen around the last turn. But, you know, as long as Mark kept on going, I thought it'd be all right because I was right on his back. And then when he made the break, I thought I was going to be in trouble. But the good Lord was shining down on us. I guess we lucked out and got through between them there.
Simply stated, what you tried to do is give your horse a chance to win.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Anytime you're going for that amount of money, you want to be giving them a chance.
Now clear and headed home.
Yeah, she was an easy winner once she got room. She's a nice little filly.
59-3 it looks like here on the timer. It is a big mile for Ron Waples here in the Breeders' Crown. Another upset winner from the man from Canada. Our congratulations all around to these connections. And now let's go back to Bruce Beck.
Well, it's not as glamorous as it appears. As you can see the mud on Ron Waples' face. That mud jumps right up at you when you're driving behind a harness horse. The race is official, and the winner is Delphi's Lobell. $53, $20, and $6.40. Miss Baltic, a long shot, was second, $37.60 and $7.60. Kind of a Hush finished third, $2.60. To Perfecta here at Pompano, $822.20. This was a long shot. And Ronnie Waples, who won this race in 1986,